G'day guys, welcome back to another short video. I've been getting a lot of questions of people asking how I've put together my raised bed garden here. The process of start to finish pretty much. As a lot of people have commented, I've been quite surprised how many comments I've got on my garden. It's quite cool. So yeah, I thought I'd just do a quick video today on the process of what I actually did to get this garden the way it's looking. When I was planting my garden, I really wanted to space out my trees to make sure there was plenty of room between them. So the main trees that I wanted to plant, the bigger ones, are about 3 meters apart. I've got avocado down the end. I've got a blood orange here in the middle, and I've got a grapefruit here and a pomelo down in the corner. And then through here, this area I just wanted to have as veggie patch, just to grow the veggies, and then put a few more fruit trees down the end. And here I've just got the apple and the soursop, just with a couple of bananas in the ground. So coming back to the main part where the fruit trees are, I wanted to do something a bit different in this property and just have a bit of a step out. Each place I put a fruit tree because I didn't want them too close to the fence. So you can see they're planted about 1200 mil, bit over a metre off the fence line. That way you can easily get around them and prune them. For the step out areas, I wanted to make them about 1500 by 1500. So 1.5 meters square area to plant each major tree in the step out, which gives that plenty of room for its roots to spread out in that loose topsoil and grow down. And in the corner, I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger, just to give a bit room to throw, do a bit of a chop and drop, and just grow a bit of ground cover in the bottom there as well. In there we have sweet potato growing and climbing spinach over the back here. The sweet potatoes gone crazy. We don't really grow up for the sweet potatoes, we just grow up for the shoots on the end, which looks like the wife's been out here picking them. There's not many left. So what you really want to do first is just come up with a plan of how you want to design your garden. What area you want to have your veggies, what areas you want to have your fruit trees, where you think the best place they'll grow, what gets the better sun for whatever you're growing there. And then once you've got your design, you can draw it out, mark out your yard and see what will fit there. These main trees are about 3 meters apart, like I said. So in between, I've just stepped it back. And you can see I've got a sleeper at the front and the back. These are sienna treated sleepers. So the treatment on these is fine for growing fruit trees and veggies. So once I've got all the measurements, I just measured it all and cut everything to size. And then I've ran a string line from this screw here, still in there from nearly 2 years ago, straight through there. So I've got a nice straight line, and then I've just screwed all the main frames together without pegging them into the ground at this point. So it was all just loose and all just screwed in loosely. So I've just got long galvanised screws that went right through here. So I've just screwed all the main frame together, all the outside. And then once I've had it all screwed together, I put my string line up and made sure it was nice and straight and relatively square. And then what I've done, I've come and put pegs inside. These are a star picket. Put them in all the corners and then screwed also back in to the timbers. Same here. I just wanted to raise this one up more for better drainage for my avocado. So once I had all this pegged in place, what I've done is put down a heap of cardboard, heap of brown cardboard, and watered it just to let it sit down and smother the grass that was underneath. Brown cardboard is really good to use if you can get it. You can use newspaper, but yeah, any types of big brown paper, even you can get rolls of brown paper. But yeah, cardboard's really good. Do a couple of layers thick if you can. So at this point I've got it all pegged out, all the cardboard in, no trees, nothing in there. And then I've gone with my trailer down to the sand and gravel place and got myself what they call a farmer's blend mix, which is a mixture of sand and fine bark, bit of compost and animal manure in it, cow and chook manure. And that's just a good start to get into your garden. It's quite fertile, well drained soil. And then once that's in there, you can go ahead and plant your trees. So I always plant my trees nice and high. You can see where the roots are starting to come out. You know what I mean? You don't want that underground, you want that nice and high. All my fruit trees I try to, initially when I plant them, I mound the soil up, even in raised garden beds, because they will sink a lot. And you don't want your trees sinking. The higher the better, because they will eventually settle down. The higher the better for drainage, and your roots will just grow so much quicker. All these trees are only been in the ground about 2 years now, and they're doing so well. These blood oranges aren't too far off ripening. In the middle here I've just got a kumquat. See in the middle bays, in the smaller areas, I've put a fruit tree, but I've put one that's not going to grow as big. That's just a kumquat, and I'm not really going to let it get much bigger than that. Or a calamansi, Calamindian kumquat. And over here I've just got a Maya lemon. This is just like a small lemon, dwarf lemon. You can just keep these pretty small. So the plants I've chosen to put in between aren't going to grow real big, like the avocados and the citruses, the bigger citruses. This is a dwarf grapefruit, but it'll still grow very big. That's not doing very well. So if it doesn't really take off in spring this year, it's coming out. And I'm going to put something in that's a lot more vigorous. Because it's not worth it. You're better off putting in something that's going to grow really quick. If it's not a well-doing tree, it's not worth keeping in. Put it back in a pot. If it starts coming good, then maybe find a spot for it. But that's about the only one that's not doing good. The rest of them are doing really good. Mellow's doing awesome. These aren't too far off being ripe now. I've Had to prop this one up here with this because it's just got so many. It's got about 6 pomelos just in this little area. The papayas are doing good. We've got heaps of papayas. We're almost sick of eating them. But they're only a tree that'll be in there for a couple of years and they'll be dead and pull it out. And then I've just got one banana in the back there. That's just a dwarf, so it's not going to get real big. I'm not going to let it spread, so I'm just going to let one grow there. I'm not even going to let a sucker come up. I'll just keep cutting them out. The tomatoes are booming. These have been in the ground 6 weeks and they're already 7 foot tall with a ton of tomatoes. Got another one here that's going to be caged up soon. It's a different variety. These are a mighty red. Just really good disease resistant. Medium, large sized tomatoes. And my other ones I got in the ground over here, something different. Yellow pear. It's already starting to get some on it. I've done a tomato video of how I've set all them up. Really happy with the way they're going. They're just booming. I've just got a few veggies in at the moment. A few bok choys, a few lettuces. I'm halfway through mulching this area. I've mulched up to about here. Just got to mulch this other bit here. So yeah, that's pretty much the setup. And that's how I've done my garden here. The apple tree's doing its last flush before winter. The soursop's been putting out heaps of flowers, but because it's coming into winter, they keep falling off. So next year I think it'll start holding fruit. Pretty excited about that. I can't wait to get a tree full of apples as well. Tropical apple, Anna apple, self-pollinating. And then there's me little dwarf bananas over here. Starting to thicken up, especially these ones. These ones come out first. They're doing really well. And all the asparagus is doing its last big growth spurt before winter and it all dies back. But that asparagus has only been in the ground for less than 2 years too. It's so thick. So everything's doing really well here. Once all the trees have been in for a while, and then I've just come along and mulched it. But what you want to do when you mulch it, especially with bark mulch and wood chip mulch, you just want to make sure you give it a lot of nitrogen around the time you mulch, because you'll find it will suck a lot of nitrogen out of your soil. So just give it plenty of nitrogen fertilizers after you put down your mulch. Your wood chip mulch. I like wood chip. It looks good. This one's getting a little bit old now, but I don't wood chip where all my veggies are. So yeah, there's so many designs and step outs you can do just to give your garden bed a little bit of character. I've even got this one here dropped down. Just where me bananas are growing. That's all that's really growing in there, bananas. And then I've got another bed at the back, a small one. There's another one there and a one at the back. So I've got asparagus growing in the back, and the water spinach is all growing in the back. So the main ones that are just growing in this front bed are the 2 banana trees. I've got some asparagus in the front, but it's not really doing as good as the ones in the back, because they're fighting a lot more with the fighting for food over the bananas, and they're never going to win over the bananas. But the ones at the back are doing really good in the bed at the back. So yeah, I've just made them a different size, height, dug them in a lot more, just to give it a little bit of character. Just little things you can do. And see, I've separated the beds here, made their own little boxed off area here where you've got a tree, just to stop the roots going into your veggie patch a little bit. So these are totally boxed off, these 2 areas here. And then a little sort of herb garden in the middle. Heaps of rosemary growing at the moment. Chilies, basil's sort of not looking too flash. We've been getting heaps of rain. The basil's not liking it. And I've got strawberries growing down underneath here. Strawberries is a good one to put underneath your fruit trees. Just shallow roots, they're not really going to take much nutrients out of your fruit trees. All my eggplants are coming to the end of the days. Winter, I just about had it. I've let this one little shoot grow out the side of this pawpaw tree here. So when the pawpaw tree gets a bit too tall, I'll cut it off and I'll just let this shoot grow. And I'll get me fruit off this. It's like starting a tree all over again, but with a full, already huge root system. So you can imagine how quick that would grow. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any questions, please ask. I'll get back to everyone really quickly. Got your passion fruit growing up the tree there, loaded with passion fruits, beautiful yellow ones. This edging over here I've put flat, and I've put some threaded bar rod through them and just screwed them together in the corners as well. But next time, I've just found it's just lifting a bit, it's not staying down. So next time what I'm going to do, because this is threaded rod, I'm going to countersink a nut into there and a washer into all these if I ever do it again, and that'll hold them down, because when the weather gets on them and they get wet, they tend just to raise a bit. So if you guys are thinking about doing an edge, this is good for just a shorter edge. If you just want to put some pebbles, I'm just going to pebble this area. Just going to put river stone in this area here, up against the house, because you don't want dirt up against your house. So you want to put everything in pots there. So I'm just going to have pavers and pots all along here. Got me blueberries and raspberries, and just a few fruit trees just in pots, just getting them established. So yeah, I've got to get some river stones and put in here. But yeah, if I was to do it again, I'd countersink some nuts onto those threaded rods. So I pinned them down deep with threaded rods, hit them in a long way. So if you had nuts and washers on them, it would hold them down. They wouldn't buckle. See, it's just lifted a bit there. So I'm going to have to probably replace a couple of them. One very important tip that I'll have to tell you is when you plant your fruit trees, if you've got clay soil or something that's not very well drained, definitely don't dig down into your natural ground. That'll just create a well for water to sit, and your trees will suffer. They'll get root rot. So that's another reason I plant my trees nice and high, so you don't have to dig into your natural ground underneath your garden bed. Just dig into the soil you've put in there, that you filled your garden up beds with, and mound it up and plant your trees into it. Don't dig a hole into your natural ground if you've got bad drainage like I do here. And your plants will love you for it. Just let them do the work with the roots, getting down into the ground. Don't dig a hole, because you think you're doing them some good work by digging them a hole, but you're actually not. It just creates a place for water to sit, and it will just go stagnant. And before you know it, your trees will be getting awfully sick. So that's one of the best tips I can give you guys when you plant your trees. Plant them in a raised bed, but don't dig a hole underneath. Dig just into your soil. You filled it up, and mound it up, and mound them up high. Stake them if you have to. If you think that the soil's a bit loose for them, just get a stake down into natural ground and stake them up. But don't dig a hole into natural ground. And your plants will be so much more happier. Well, thanks again for tuning in, guys. We will see you on the next one. Have fun gardening out there. See you later.